We had a monster of a snowfall, and we're gonna do some driving in the night. It is quite slippery out here on this parking lot. I think the main roads are pretty clear, and we're gonna talk about what this car's like in the snow as a daily driver. Being in Canada, the snow is a reality. So, yeah, daily driver's got to be able to handle it, or at the very least, you got to be comfortable with it. Moving around. But yeah, no, I have traction control off right now. Got the snow tires. This car's super lightweight. Now lightweight and this car's dynamic is totally made for these lower kind of speeds. And yeah, go ahead. And maybe not so much as planted on the highway, but turning, obviously, you know, when things get slippery, you get a feel for the car. And in the winter and the rain, you can totally feel the rear end kind of moving around. Here in the snow, as soon as you make a right turn, you totally feel the rear end moving around. Most of the weight is over the front axle where the engine is, hanging right over that thing. And yeah, it kind of pivots over that front axle. So traction control is off to just kind of let the wheels go and go where you kind of need to go. If it was on, it would absolutely stop a lot of the spinning, tire spinning, but sometimes you need that, and I'm okay with it. The rear end will still move around on a turn, but this is the best part about it, is getting the feel for it. Not necessarily at high speeds, but here when it's slow and you're going like what, 20, and you can feel some slip. So I find that super engaging. I do like snow driving, especially when you're doing it at your own pace. And yeah, Tiptronic, it's an automatic, so I use the Tiptronic to get a feel for some gears if I need to. Do like down gearing and coming to a stop using the engine. Something I'm getting used to are these front tints. It's pretty dark. Not a big fan of tints, haven't had tints in my car, so that's something to get used to. But with or without tints, this car has sick visibility. You can see right around, and the whole rear end past this rear seat is glass, so there's no blind spot. This side is a straight glass stretch, and yeah, visibility is not an issue, because as soon as I turn my head here, the pillar is not in the way, so peeping out like that as soon as I turn my head is not much, but offers super visibility when looking around. I'll put traction control back on, but the roads are mostly clear. Still gonna take my time, you know, safety first. Do always want to have that in mind. Safety for the public, safety for the roads, safety for yourself, you know, honestly. So yeah, this is the Mini 2013 model Clubman, first generation Clubman, same as the R55 Mini hatchback with a little extendo in the back. And I haven't driven the R56, but I do know that I like this R53 or R55. It feels so good, it feels tight. I can reach here I can even open the door if I need to. Everything just feels so contained. And we got sidewalk plows. This is a sick machine. Yeah, everything feels so contained, so small, very analog. So the cool thing about the Mini is that for being a front-wheel drive car, it handles incredibly. The steering feel and response is sharp. It feels so direct, point and shoot. Pretty much like that go-kart feel that a lot of people talk about. And typically for front-wheel drive cars, they're gonna do this thing called understeer, kind of like this Accord here. Pretty much all front-wheel drive cars will do this thing called understeer. So understeer is when you go into a turn, let's say you're turning right, you're making a right turn, and you're going in with some speed. What happens with understeer is that you're turning, but the car isn't turning enough. It's understeering, and it's pushing out. It's pushing out farther. Let's say you have a sharp line on your right front tire that you want to carve. The front-wheel drive cars typically won't hold that line if it's reaching the limit, and it'll push on the outside, and you'll need to either brake or turn harder. And that's typical of front-wheel drive cars, but not the Mini. The Mini doesn't do that. It's straight up, goes where you want it to go. And just like in the snow in the parking lot I was just in, it doesn't do understeering. It'll go straight into oversteering. It's like it will pivot on the front wheels and just oversteer. The back, I guess, is light, and it'll like turn on the front axle, or get a feel on that front axle and just kind of pivot around it. So that's an incredible feeling that is different from pretty much every front-wheel drive car that I've been in. Maybe because it's small. It's a combination of a lot of things, I'm sure, but it's a really good feeling for handling. Let me get out of this snow lane. I don't know how it is on the R56. The R56 Mini Cooper hatchback of the same generation is actually a bit shorter, and that's the only difference that I know. So I don't know if that wheelbase makes a difference, but Mini Coopers are known for being incredible at handling around turns, low speed, high speed. They can take it. And yeah, so yeah, you might have just heard that, Tiptronic. You can pick your gears, pick your revs, even in the automatic. And most of the internet might not like that as a driver's car. And yeah, that's okay, because I do fancy the automatic, actually, because I was actually looking for a manual. I was like, oh, maybe I gotta do the manual thing. My first Mini, the first Clubman that I had was an automatic. I was like, oh, this car's perfect. I love the way that it is. I enjoy it so much. Maybe I might enjoy more as a manual. I drove a manual car for a few months, and I found out it's not, I don't know. I think I'm just not as sharp at it. But when it comes to kind of pushing it, I'm definitely not the one to rev match with ease and smoothness. I like the manual in a daily, day-to-day traffic, regular driving situation, which is interesting because nobody ever says that. But I like it regularly driving, pretty much from any light that you drive from. You're gonna have to roll 4 gears in a manual. That's just the way it is. I didn't really find it to be a problem, but I do like, because it's everyday traffic, regular traffic, normal driving, that I had time. I had time to actually match my revs, kick up the RPMs to where they need to be, and release the clutch, so there's a smooth gear change. That's what I actually liked about the manual. When I drove it with a bit more force, I found that I was kind of all over the place, and and it wasn't as smooth. I'd be in the middle, releasing the clutch and not even in a gear, revving, and it was a bit messy. And that was in a Countryman, actually, turbo, Cooper S. So I was like, you know what, let me just go with the manual. I mean the automatic. And I like it. I actually like it. It is my preferred transmission. Who knows, maybe in the future that might change, but as of right now, I like the automatic, and it fulfills my needs. So yeah, I do the Tiptronic thing to come to a stop. If you need to hold some gears. This car is not fast by anyone's definition, just over 100 horsepower, but might make up for it with less mass to move. But to me it's enough. I found the turbo to be super quick, kicking in like past 3,000 RPMs it would absolutely rip. But I find this in the 1.6 non-turbo, it's very linear. Driving's very linear, very simple. Power delivery is very simple. And you get to wring out the gears. You get to do that in a car that's slow. You can wring out first, second, third, and not go to jail. So like you can have your fun, might not be going like blazing speeds, but it's kind of making use of all that 1.6 liter displacement. So yeah, this is just a quick rundown of my Mini winter driving daily driver, the 2013 Clubman automatic, and my impressions of it. If you drive a Mini, drop a comment, let me know what you think about your Mini and how it works for you, what works for you, your opinion on the things that you like. This would be considered an older car, which is crazy, but this is right in my sweet spot for age of car before things got like, you know, safety standardized and digital displays. This is right in my area. Favorite era of cars, the 2000s. This is at the end of the 2000s, or after the so into 2013, but the car was designed in the mid 2000s. It went through a little refresh in 2011, and which you can see maybe in another video, the interior a little bit, but it's the same thing. They changed the engine from N14 to N16, still 1.6. Yeah, and you might be watching this video to get a little information on the Minis. The Mini world is vast, and there are people who really like these cars, and you'll find that out. Like, well, like, wow, I was like, you know, I never even thought about owning a Mini before I drove one. Never crossed my mind. It's not like I didn't like it, or I hated it, or anything like that. It just never crossed my mind until I drove it. And that's the main appeal about this car to me. Yes, the styling is cute. It is attractive. It has very nice lines. To me, that is secondary compared to the driving experience. That is just another great addition. But the driving experience takes the cake, hands down. The way that it feels, the way that I can move this thing and where to put it, and the feedback through the wheels, the way the car communicates, it is unmatched. I'm sure it can be matched, but so far in my driving experience, I really like this car. It's a small economy car, if you want to classify it as that, but I find it as much more in terms of driving experience. So if you've ever driven one, drop a comment, let me know what your experience has been like in the Mini, what your opinions are if you haven't driven a Mini, or any questions or thoughts or opinions the world of the internet and sharing opinions. Absolutely, feel free to do that. That is cool. Everyone's got an opinion. I've got mine. That's why I'm making this video, and I drive a Mini. And yeah, let me know. Share some ideas. What kind of cars appeal to you? In North America here, the hatchback style isn't really the thing, but you know what? I felt it, I experienced it, and I loved it. So yeah, small little hatchback, a couple seats in the back, a little bit of room in the boot. And yeah, I find it sufficient. All weather, all things. A few months into the ownership of this one. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for taking time to watch this video and get some information on a Mini. Like I said, drop some questions, ideas, questions, comments, and take care until next time.